the main reason why we are not able to make a correct note is that we don't know the difference between a overhand loop and a underhand loop. What is the difference? They seem very similar, but they are different. In the overhand loop, the running hand stays over the standing part. Instead, in the underhand loop, the running hand stays under the standing part. Let's for example make a bow line. When I do the bow line, I start with the overhand loop. I put the running hand inside the loop, around the standing part, inside the loop again, and the knot is done. It's quite easy. What happens if instead of starting with the overhand loop, I start with the underhand loop? Can I make the note with the same movement? No. What I have to do is to change every single movement of the note. So we have our underhand loop. That means that the rope goes from under? No, goes from above. Goes under like the first time? No, goes above. And go back in the loop from under this time. And now the knot is done. As you can see, when I done the knot, it's like, oh, but it's correct because it's capsized. In this side, I say, okay, I know this knot is the correct one. Instead, in this part is like, what I've done, I don't know. So you have to know which kind of loop are you making, overhand loop or underhand loop. It's better to know to make a note always using the same overhand or the overhand or the underhand loop. Then when we have make a little bit of practice, we start to change the position of the rope. For example, I don't use quite often this position. I have the running hand on the left side and the standing part on the right. So I start. Okay, I made what is that? A underhand loop. So with a underhand loop, can I put the rope from under like this? No. If it's under, I have to go from the top. Then, what I have to do? Going from under like this? No, I have to go like this, from over, and then I pull the knot. Okay, so the knot is done. I capsize it, now I recognize the bow line. So you have to, after you learned to make the note in the same way, for that reason I use always to say if I'm making an overhand loop or a underhand loop. If I say just make a loop, I have to say that everything's changed later. So you start with making the same loop every time, and then you complete it as you know to do it. And then you start to change the loops. In this way you are able to know to make the note in every position that you want.